Yeah, so we got West Virginia sitting down and meeting about convention of states. Very significant for a couple of reasons. We're going to get into that right now. Okay, so on Friday, West Virginia got together. Citizens and patriots had come and started to speak their mind. Did a phenomenal job. All cause supporters, all people who were with conventionestates.com did a great job articulating their points. You know, they didn't go up there. A lot of times when you get loose citizens going up, if they're unprepared and they're not sure what, how to answer questions and what to say, that it could be a disaster, but not here. These guys were well prepared. You could tell they knew what they were talking about, made some great cases, and there was no vote on Wednesday. I mean, on in West Virginia on Friday, but it was significant for this purpose. And I'm going to get into the bigger purpose of it as well. But it was significant because there was no opposition. In all of these debates, and I've watched a ton of them, in all of them, there is opposition. There are at least someone. Now, the ACLU did step up, okay? But to me, like when the ACLU steps up, that's like just have George Soros show up himself. Like thank you, ACLU, thank you for articulating that you are not for this, because you are exactly the type of person where a citizen will look, or a type of organization where a citizen will look at and say, "Oh, really? ACLU doesn't like it? Well, maybe I'm wrong if I was critical of it. Let me rethink this, because if they don't like it, it must be good." That's the impact that the ACLU has to America-loving Americans, okay? And because this civil liberties is nonsense, then civil liberties only matter if you're burning the streets down and causing chaos to them, okay? So the reality of the matter is this was a wonderful expedition, and I can tell you, without having that opposition there, tells you that the opposition is starting to fade, okay? People don't want to be caught on camera talking about this runaway convention nonsense, because when you're not when there's people in the room who understand history, because you'll just get destroyed. You'll just get destroyed. For all the blabbering that the John Birch Society does, trying to act like it's a conservative thing to not want to use the Constitution. You don't see John Birch Society members showing up at these meetings, at these committee hearings and such. So this is a good sign. This is a good sign. And I can tell you one other thing I want to throw in. I've been watching these for a while. Okay, I've been watching them, and I haven't been watching them for years because I've only myself been on board with this for, a little bit less than a year. But the videos are out there of the debates that have gone on in years past. Going back to 2015, 14, 16. And yeah, I have sat down and watched them because that's just kind of the weird stuff I do. But in the end, you could hear the arguments changing from these people as time goes on. And as the years have gone on, and thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you to Joe Biden's handlers, I should say, because really you were the inspiration for doubling the amount of support that the movement has gotten over the past year and a half or so. Okay, and frankly, it's people like Joe Biden who have gotten me on board. I didn't need Joe Biden to get on board. We need these amendments anyway. I would have been on this whether Trump was still president. It doesn't matter, because these issues are bigger than that, right? Trump's not implementing term limits. Trump's not doing that. Okay, so Trump's not implementing term limits. Trump's not going to be able to turn back the debt clock. I think we can see that. For all the touting we did for his economy, the reality is the debt clock was still spinning wildly out of control and getting worse under his watch, as it is now getting worse under Biden's watch. And if we don't do anything, we'll assuredly get worse under the next president's watch. Doesn't matter if Trump wins or if DeSantis wins or whoever's president, because this is beyond elected officials now. The entire system is broken. But what you can hear now is that, unlike then, where this runaway argument just was kind of spewed out by these legislators, because when this was brought to them, they didn't understand it. And rather than just try, I didn't understand it either when it was brought to me. I didn't think it was possible to amend the Constitution without Congress. Now, to my own ignorance. But once I got turned on to it, yeah, the runaway convention was brought to me as well. And for a moment, it made sense as well. And then I looked into it, and then it stopped making sense. All right? And these, you can hear it in the way that the legislators are talking, that they too are coming to this realization that there's no fear here. There's no fear here. Unless you're a Marxist. If you're a Marxist, there's a fear here. And I can tell you, with Nebraska and with Wisconsin jumping on board, becoming 16 and 17, and now we're officially halfway there, and we've got another 19 to go this year. Okay, so now, do I think all 19 are gonna pass full resolutions this year? I don't, but I am more optimistic than Mark Meckler, and probably because he's more experienced in dealing with these legislators. But I am more optimistic. I think the snowball effect is going to have more impact than people give it credit for. And I think we already look. Iowa's looking incredibly good. Okay, South Dakota looking incredibly good. There are other states out there that are looking. They're almost done. Meckler said he got word from Pennsylvania that they called him. The speaker there called him to tell him they're moving this thing forward, and then he heard from the Senate, from the Senate Majority Leader, and he hears from him that no, this thing's going to pass. So Pennsylvania looks like it's going to be on board. There are states. I didn't even see Wisconsin coming. Okay, so there are states coming on board now. All right, and when this gets to 20, 21, 22, that's momentum, okay? So now when the runaway convention argument loses more weight, it has no weight, but whatever, now it's like at moon level where it's just lifting off the ground because it's got less than zero weight, and the reality of the matter is these legislators are starting to learn about it. Now, it's a little embarrassing that they didn't know about it already. I've said it once, I say it a million times. There should be a civics exam required to run, just to run. For any type of congressional office, you should have to pass a civics exam on the Constitution. It's embarrassing that it's embarrassing that I didn't know it. If I ran for office and didn't know it, I'd be just disgusted. My head would be in a hole. But the good news is they went out and they started looking into it, and they started realizing that in historical context and how everything works, that conventions are not new. There are procedures. The states have full control, and they learned all that, and that the ratification process is real. So I am feeling very excited about what's upcoming for Convention of States. I am fired up about what's coming for Convention of States, and I hope you are too. Make sure that you take some time, if you haven't done it already. Click the subscribe button and make sure you hit our website, patriotthinktank.com. Make sure you go there. There's a button there. If you go to the cause link, there's a button there where you can go, take you right to the Convention of States website to sign the petition. They will write a letter to your representative for you, so you don't even have to pick up a pen. You don't even have to get in front of your keyboard. All right, all you got to do is just put in your address. Actually, you got to get in front of your keyboard. You got to put in your address so they know who your representative is, and then poof, you're done. They're going to send the letter for you. All right, then get with the people at cause and find out how you can go ahead and make a difference. Because I can tell you, these grassroots people that are on the ground are the reason why these things are happening. State legislators are not the same as congressmen. All right, they're not. They're very local. Okay, state legislators, they're there. You can talk to your state legislator, okay? They're representing much smaller groups of people. They're much more localized than a congressional, even a governor. These people are accessible. This is why they were given control by the founders, because these people are people that we can get right to. And we've gotten to them. The grassroots movement has gotten to them, and they've gotten to them politely. They didn't have to kick down doors, start acting like a bunch of animals. They just went in and basically made their case, because it's undeniable how out of control the federal government is. It's undeniable. When you got 55% of Democrats agreeing that these amendments are worthwhile, Democrat voters, mind you, not the media machine and the politicians. No, they can't stand it. We're talking about the voters, okay? But when you got 55% of Democrat voters who are down on this, I think it's 78% of Republican voters, 65 or so percent in the 60s for independents, that's telling you that there's some agreement there. And believe me, state legislators listen, okay? They hear this. They know why they're there. And this is why the power was given to them, all right? So the reality of the matter is we need to start getting on board. All right, it's all these grassroots participants who have been showing up to these things and getting on these Zoom calls. Massachusetts, I listened to their Zoom call on Convention of States. That went over very well. This is Massachusetts. Okay, like if you'd have told me that this would even got to the floor in Massachusetts to even be heard by a committee, I would have been like, no way. But lo and behold, there they were. And that's all available on YouTube as well. So But I can tell you, as I watch these things, we're looking very good. So West Virginia, good for you, good for all of you, and the good folks at Convention Estates, volunteers down there who have gone in there, took the time out of their day to get in and get active, and let them know, why we need this, and that you were in full support of this. It's very, very, very important. We're going to get to this 34, folks. We're getting there. And I don't, John Birch Society be damned. We're following our Constitution, and we're going to follow it right to the promised land. All right. I'll be back tomorrow with some more great stuff on Convention Estates, any other issues that might come up in the news. Other than that, leave me your comments below to let me know why you support Convention Estates. Let me know if there's anything that you need from us, any questions you need answered. Be more than happy to help you out with that. If you want to see where your state is and what their resolution is, you can go to our website. We've got it broken down by state, and you can find your actual resolution that your state has right there. And you can just click on it, read it. They're all the same. They all read the same way. Term limits, right? Term limits, government overreach, and fiscal restraints. That's where we're going with this. Tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more about the details of what types of amendments might come out of those topics, and kind of toss it back and forth and see how that goes. All right? Other than that, take care. Until tomorrow, I'm out.
And like that,